Hi, this is Siddharth from Team Digit, and I'm here with Gavin Lowth, who is the head of Asia Pacific and Japan for Norton Small Business and Consumer.
Hi Siddharth, thank you for taking the time.
Welcome.
So with Mike Brown being in the CEO position, as I said, he's made some big calls around the future course of Symantec as an organisation. One of his first decisions when he came in as permanent CEO was he split the Norton business, the B2C, the Norton branded business, into its own business unit. And that was how we used to run, 2 or 3 years ago. And the way that we communicate, the way that you sell, the way that you go to market with B2C is very, very different than your big corporate B2B type enterprise type organization. So that's been massively different for us in terms of, the employees working in the Norton business unit, our partners, they get very, a lot of clarity from us, clear direction on where we want to go, and our customers as well. We're trying to become very clear in terms of how we communicate to them on protection technologies, how to update themselves using brand ambassadors, etc. So that's become, there's been a big change, and maybe that's why.
You had any big name brand ambassador here?
Look, it's in Australia we had a big sponsorship around V8, which was a sponsorship of Nissan.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of did that for a long time, and it was it worked for us at a part of time when we needed it, and it just kind of ran it to the end of its course, and we kind of stopped doing it about a year ago. But it's something that we're looking at, really. I mean, it's got to be within the security landscape. Norton's a huge brand already. It's not, we don't need ambassadors to build a brand. It's more, does an ambassador have the same kind of core security, family type protection values that we share? Not in a brand ambassador sense like you would know it. So,
I think here Kaspersky had Sachin Tendulkar as their brand ambassador for a long time. And they had some association with Ferrari as well.
Yes.
They provided internal IT security for their systems. So no plans of going that way?
Look, I think as a new entrant to the market, you've got nothing to lose, right? You've got no brand preference, you've got no history in the market. Competitors mainly today are 3 or 4 years old. Norton's had an association with the Indian consumer for 25 years, right? And we still maintain that our core value is around the best protection. Customers feel super confident when they see the Norton logo or the tick, and that's something that we won't compromise on. This best protection type thing you'll hear from us all the time. We don't want to compromise on the protection technologies. So, and the brand's there. It's people understand it. They feel comfortable with it. So
we used to also do antivirus tests a long time ago. We used to use virus database samples from VirusSign.
Yes.
And we even had a Linux guy who'd done real-time network penetration using Kali Linux, things like that. But what we noticed was that all the participants in the group test, antivirus companies, they used to come and go like, how do you know this antivirus database is not biased towards this particular, and eventually 0 day we couldn't do anything to test 0 day viruses, right? So we sort of kind of dropped that test.
Yes.
Now we only sort of do a comparison based on features that are offered.
And it's, look, we still use file-based signatures, but it's just a tiny part of our protection technologies. That's where we've kind of come from, because that was how we used to. That's how the AV industry started. But we have award-winning intrusion prevention system technologies, which takes it, say, from, if you look at the AV today, if you look at the security industry today, as I said, it's a small part. Signature based is a very small part. RPS gets you to the next level, but this what we call reputation-based heuristics.
And you guys are the first to do that. Right?
Yeah, this is huge for us, and because of the scale, because Norton's so big, we see things quicker, right? So you talk about your zero-day attacks. With the protection, the heuristic and the reputation-based technology that we have, we're the first to see that. What we see or what our competitors see in a week, with the amount of data that we have, we see in seconds, right? So we're very rapidly updating those security technologies. The latest product, we've shifted a lot of those protection technologies into the cloud, so we can get it down to consumers' devices, whether it be Android or PC, very, very quickly.
Okay.
So that the amount of work that they've put in over the last 18 months, whilst we have been quiet externally, they've been spending a lot of time and a lot of effort internally around protection technology. So when, I get pretty frustrated when I'm talking to folk and they say, well, it's just, pick which one you want. But we need to do a much better job of getting the story out that it's not a like-for-like comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Anybody who I've said, hey, use this, take it home, install it on your PC or your Android or your iOS device, the feedback is super positive. So,
right. I think you guys started with multi-device licenses also.
Yes.
And I think that must have worked out pretty well in this market, I'm guessing. Any thoughts on that?
Very, very well. The awareness around PC security is very high, right? We've been in the industry for 20 plus years, and 3 or 4 years ago, as mobile started to proliferate, the awareness is still very low on mobiles. Very, very low. And what's starting to happen now, as people realize the amount of data and the value, yes, it's a 3,000 rupee, 10,000 rupee phone, but the amount of data and the amount of information that you have on this phone is becoming, or this mobile device,
Absolutely.
is becoming more and more relevant, right? So people are understanding, how do I protect the phone itself, with insurance type products, how do I protect it with, from a technology perspective, and how do I protect the information on the device. So there's industry springing up all over the place around securing the mobile device. So, but as I said, the multi-device, we were the first to use it, but it's worked out very well. People who typically have a PC would start to use that same license or the same access of that license into their Androids and other type of technologies. So it's worked well for us, and we're starting to see a big uptake as the awareness increases.
You spoke about the positioning Norton as not just an antivirus company. What does that mean exactly?
Well, if you look at antivirus, it's an antivirus technology, right? But the technologies around the Norton security product today, as I said, the antivirus piece is not even, I would say it's less than 20% of the technology today. As I say, you've got a two-way firewall, you've got intrusion prevention systems which stop intruders coming into the PC. You've got this reputation-based scanning, which is very quick, that can see the behavior of certain files, that can actually warn you very quickly and say, hey, this kind of looks like, a bad threat. It kind of smells like it's most probably a bad threat, even without the signature to match, right? So in that respect, you can't, and that takes years and years and scale to build up that sort of reputation, that sort of database. So, when we hear about comparing us to, this local competitor or that local competitor, it's very much an awareness thing, to increase awareness around the technologies that we have.
So as far as the PC software is concerned, the kind of feedback that we get from our readers is that they want an antivirus that just runs in the background,
Yes.
doesn't bother them too much, and is very light. Shouldn't be very resource hungry.
Yes.
So are there any steps towards that you guys are taking?
Buy Norton Security. Without a doubt. I can honestly say that, and the PR ladies will tell me afterwards, right, please don't say this, but 2004 and 2005, our product was suboptimal. We had some issues in 2006 with the heaviness of our product. We did a lot of work in 2007 and beyond in terms of getting our technology quick, getting it smaller, and getting it quicker to update. And these are the technologies that we put in place. All we've done is improve that. Anytime I give somebody a copy of the latest version of our product, the installation time, the amount of memory it holds, how quiet it is on the PC, exceeds expectations.
Okay.
So have a look yourself.
So I've used 360. I've used NIS quite a lot.
Yes.
Another very, very recent thing that everyone in the media is talking about, and this is related to security on the IoT front.
Yes.
Recently, two hackers successfully managed to remotely hack a Jeep Cherokee, right?
Did you see it?
I did.
Amazing, eh?
It's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Windscreen wipers, the whole thing, it was scary.
Yeah, from your perspective, what are your thoughts on that? Does Norton have a play in that space, IoT?
Look, I mean, what's happening, as you just said, is more and more devices are connecting to the internet, right? So it used to be your PC, now it's your phone over the last 2 or 3 years. But now it's, I mean, you look in an advanced household, you know, where IoT is a little bit more prevalent in certain markets, you would see the fridge is connected, the TV's connected, the kettle's connected, the alarm system's connected, your front door key is connected, the thermostat's connected, everything's connected. And it's sometimes using protocols that are not found in PCs and mobiles today. It's a new type of protocols that have this kind of connectivity.
And many of them are embedded systems, right? So they're non-x86 also.
Exactly. So protecting these devices and protecting the communication channels is a huge issue, right? There's things that are dumb devices, right, that are not going to have any effect whether they get hacked or not, right? Whether it turns a light on or not, it's no big deal, right? But then there's other pieces like your alarm system, your car. I mean, that's a big issue. Access to data, you know, wherever you store that. So it's becoming much more of an issue, and you know how organizations, how private individuals protect all of those devices, whether it be in a home or whether it be at work, is becoming super important. So there's some work that we've been doing over the last 12 to 8 months. I think the market is ripe for solutions to come in.
On embedded systems particularly.
I think it, you know, not just in those systems, but I think in location-based activities. I mean, you look at the enterprise, it's pretty secure. There's policy, there's process, you have IT systems in place, you have the chief security officer, CIO, and it's pretty, the ability to respond is good. The consumer with their personal devices, that is becoming, well, I think the awareness is low today. I think it's starting to become much more prevalent. But if you look at, like, say, the home, I mean, that's the amount of devices that can potentially be internet connected is massive, right? And I think that's the next space where I feel that where there's a huge market opportunity to have solutions that play in that space.
So on your research and R&D side, do you guys work with government agencies to protect, say, critical infrastructure like dam walls or, you know, the electricity grid, you know, those kind of things? The kind of things that hackers, we at least look at hackers as, you know, they'll do something to it.
Yes. So I mean, to answer your question directly, it's yes. I mean, we have solutions that cover across, you know, all of enterprise, whether it be government, whether it be large enterprise, the banking or finance verticals, you know, health and pharma. We have solutions that fit into all of that. The Norton side of the business is very much focused on, you know, consumers and the low end of small to medium enterprise. So my type of business is around that, around that small piece. But there's a lot of technologies that we have today, you know, and with the split, I think we'll start to become a lot more focused in the development of the roadmap around those technologies. that we have today that are playing exactly to those spaces. And it's not just hackers is most probably a term. There's state-sponsored. There's underground criminal groups. I mean, this is how they make their money, right? So it's not just a nuisance anymore like it used to be in the mid 2000s. There's real money at stake here.
Funny you should mention state-sponsored, because I had a question about state-sponsored cyber terrorism. What are your thoughts on that end?
Look, I mean, I think it's a concern, across all of governments, all of the security industry in general. The ISTR, the Symantec Internet Security Threat Report that comes out, has some information into that. I don't have it offhand, but I can certainly point you in the right direction.
It's currently in the 20th version.
20th
Yes.
version, that's right.
But that, that has some information around that I just don't
Sure, yeah.
offhand. But I mean, it's becoming an important, aspect of securing the enterprise, of securing the home, of securing your personal information, of securing governments, large financial institutions, so stock markets, it's becoming an issue.
From the consumer point of view, what according to you is the biggest threat to security, information security right now?
Look, I mean, I think, from a consumer perspective, I think the way that people go about their daily lives today, there's an intrinsic understanding that I'm safe, I'm good, and what's happening now is there's an increased awareness around, as I said, the value of the information that you're swinging around in your purse or your back pocket or whatever. That's becoming a concern to everyone. So everyone's looking around, is my personal information safe? Is my credit card information safe? So, one of the first things I say to people who answer me that question, educate yourself. Whether it's technology, whether it's process, or whether it's communication, having a conversation with your family, your kids, your mother and your father. It's important to start understanding the threats that are out there.
For a long time, people used to think Macs are unhackable.
Yeah.
But it was just that the hackers had not directed their attention to that platform yet.
Correct.
And we've seen how that has played out.
Yes.
Right?
And also the population of Macs, right?
Yeah.
It was a small part of the internet connected devices.
It wasn't worth their while to kind of...
Exactly. And now what we're finding today, right, is that it's maybe not the OS. It could be the ecosystem around it, that you have your personal information, your credit card details, social security numbers, home loan applications, health data. I mean, that's not even on your person, right? You're putting it up somewhere else.
Right.
And it's another thing I was just going to refer to is you should also be aware about the information that you give away, whether it be on Facebook or social media outlets or applications to certain, as I said, home loans or health checks.
Social engineering also is a big...
Yeah, I mean, they have that, organizations get hacked and you have your personal data there. So...
Right. Another question was, is security mostly a reactionary market, or what are some of the proactive techniques that security companies like you are engaged in?
Look, as I said, we spent a lot of time over the last 12 to 18 months researching around our protection technologies and really improving them. We want to be known as the best security. We don't want to compromise there. It's all around our best protection. So that's key for us. It's an important part of at least keeping yourself safe in terms of making yourself aware around the information that you have, where your information resides. I think technology is an aspect, but also I said you need to be aware of the information that you give away and educate yourself. So I don't think it's reactionary. I think you can lower the risk. I think there's always a risk with obviously being on the internet, but I think people who use good security protection technologies, who feel confident, have a feel that they can actually browse or go online in a much more confident manner than they can without that. So, and back to the brand, it's been around for a long time. We feel good around our protection technologies. The speed at which we can react, given the scale around some of those technologies, is we feel is an important differentiator for consumers.
One of the talking points you had was research from the quantified self. So,
look, I mean, in that respect, I think it's again back to connected devices, right? I mean, I think any of those personal fitness devices or any device that's on yourself that has sort of connectivity, it's like an IoT device, right? And it's really what protocols, what technology it uses, how important it is, what level of data it has access to. Those you just have to assess the risks, right? So I think it's an important, as it becomes more common in people's lives, it becomes a bigger pool of devices to attack.
But isn't it harmless data if the sensors on your body are
could
monitoring your heart rate?
Yes,
What?
could be. So that's what I'm saying. You need to assess it.
Okay.
If it's your credit card details, your social security number, your date of birth, that's information that you don't maybe want on a device, right?
You guard it with your life.
Exactly. But I'm saying that if it's you run 5 miles a day and it's your fitness levels, maybe that's important to someone, maybe a health insurance company who's trying to assess that out. Yes.
Or marketers.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it's the level of risk and the protection around it. So I think you don't spend $10,000 insuring a bicycle, but you might do that to your house or whatever. So you assess the risk, see what information it has, and this is the awareness thing, right? It comes back to the awareness. Your mobile device is becoming a much more important piece of your life in terms of the amount of information it has and the sensitivity of the information it has. So people need to assess that. And word's getting out, right? I mean, people understand that, we inundated now with understanding mobile technologies and, do you have protection for this? Do you have protection for that? So we feel we're in the exact right space.
So I'm at the end of my questions. Is there anything you would like to tell our readers?
Yes, we've over the last, as I said, 12 to 18 months, we've done a lot of work in the protection technologies. We feel we have a great product, a great service offering that we'll be coming out with something later on in the year. It's been a lot of change over the last period of time within Symantec, but we feel with the decisions that our new CEO Mike Brown's made, we're in super good shape to execute against security threats in the future.
So these are changes in the 2015 editions of 360 and NIS?
So some will come out even later on in the year.
Okay.
That will be updated with updated technology as well.
Okay.